Welcome. I am so excited to share with you guys all things retreats. This is part one of a three-part mini series on how to infuse intentional retreats into your offer suite. And this across the board, the next three trainings are really tailored on what I have experienced as a retreat host over the last 5 years of hosting retreats myself, over the last 8 years of hosting luxury events as a certified award-winning event planner. And then I'm also a business revenue strategist. So it is really important to see how to infuse retreats into your existing offer suites, exploring your goals. And so we're going to dive right in. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. Feel free to take notes. If you are not in a place where you can, you will want to circle back and be able to ask questions, be able to take notes on things that I want you to reflect on outside of the training, and really just get the most out of this experience. This is going to be so foundational if you are serious about hosting retreats in the near future, or really at all. This is something that definitely is applicable at any stage. Okay, so casting your vision for your retreat. These are my top tips to get started. Overview of today, we're going to dive into clarifying your goal as a retreat host, your client promise versus your transformation, as well as casting your vision for the overall experience. So very foundational today. For those who don't know me, I am Danielle Throckmorton, and I'm a speaker, a business revenue strategist for entrepreneurs, and I'm also a retreat host. I've spent the last 8 years as a certified award-winning event planner. I retired back in November. And for the last 5 years, I've been hosting intentional retreats as a revenue strategist, infusing them into my educational side of my business. I've also been helping as a revenue strategist help other entrepreneurs infuse retreats. I've hosted both internationally as well as domestically, and really excited to bring to you guys just some education over the next couple of weeks. The first thing that I want to share with you guys is that this training alone is not something that you can skip, okay? This is something that I feel like once you've gained this clarity and you've got yourself into momentum, it's really going to help you be able to drive the decision to really make this retreat possible. I personally have, like I said, hosted international and domestic retreats. I have received the remarkable and beautiful 90% rebooking rate with my audience, as well as over $60,000 in ticket sales within the first week. So we're going to be talking about some launching, pre-launch strategies as part of the trainings that I'll be presenting to you. And so I'm just overall passionate about creating these moments, but helping you strategically do this in a way that will not harm your business, but will allow you to make profitable retreats, really a revenue of time, money, and energy. So part one is to clarify your goal as a retreat host. So I want you to figure out how infusing intentional retreats makes sense to you in your existing offer suite. Okay. So at the bottom, I put warning, skipping this step often leads to retreat host fatigue. This is the deal. So many times when I ask my clients, hey, what's your overall goal for the retreat? I often hear, I just want to bring women together. That's all I want. I just want to do this for my community. And when I hear them say this, I'm so happy because it is a must. It needs to be a part of your desire. You need to have a heart to want to create this space and to hold space for the clients that are going to experience your transformation. But also, not having a goal in mind can lead to your burnout. Okay. It can help you just say, okay, this is too much for me. Because, guys, hosting your retreat is a whole ass job. It's like growing a baby. Okay. It is a whole ass job. But when done intentionally, can be incredibly impactful for your attendees as well as for you as the business owner. So here's a couple of options when considering how to host with intention. So here's 4 common ways that I have personally used this or have worked with my clients to infuse retreats into their existing offer suite. Okay. So first one is, could it enhance an existing offer? So I host masterminds for entrepreneurs, and in my mastermind, I have a in-person retreat experience. Okay. Wasn't like that the first time I launched the mastermind. The second time and the third time, I increased the experience by adding an in-person component. They've been working virtually together for 6 months, and now they get the opportunity to come in person. Now, when done with intention, it can not only add value to the clients, making it easier and more enticing for people to want to be into the offer or buy into the mastermind or buy into your program, but it can also add an additional stream of revenue and increase the profitability of that existing offer as it sits now. Again, when done intentionally. Secondly is, could you add it as an additional stream of revenue? Like, could you really just say, hey, I want to create a retreat for it to be profitable and add more money to my business. Now, personally, for me, I actually have a retreat brand completely on its own. Reach Retreat is my luxury retreat. I host retreats there, and then I host retreats also through my personal brand as a revenue strategist. Okay. Again, different types of retreats with different goals in mind. So for the Reach Retreat, it's a luxury high-end retreat. It has high cost because of the type of experience. We're traveling into different international places. We're staying in mansions. Like, that style of retreat needs to make a profit for me, especially because it can take anywhere from 9 months to 12 months for me to strategically plan, execute, launch, and source all of the things that I need to make that the level of retreat experience that it is. That isn't everyone's goal. But for me, I know at minimum, what I want to profit and strategically plan for in order to have that as a profit stream in my business. Secondly, or thirdly, I should say, aid in your upcoming launch. So maybe you have a mastermind coming up. You have a really big program. You have a 9-month program that you're leading into. Maybe you're a yoga instructor and you're going to host certifications and walk through people through a 9 to 12-month program. Whatever that looks like, could you host a retreat experience to give them a taste of what it would look like to work with you, to build that like, know, and trust, and then launch coming off of it? So maybe it's a lower ticket retreat, unlike the one above, lower ticket retreat. And the one above doesn't have to be a lower ticket either. There's room to talk about that for sure. But maybe it's more of like, okay, I kind of want to have a cushion, so I make sure I don't lose on this. But my main goal is actually to launch into a program where I would add revenue into my business over X, Y, and Z. Okay. So it can be a front end offer, a back end offer. It can be as a part of the offer, like the first one of enhancing it, or it could be to build a community and break even. Okay. Maybe your desire is really just to take your community, the women around you, and bring them into a closer connection with each other. Maybe you've had a community for a while and you can tell that it needs that in-person component to really take it to the next level. But again, we do not want to lose money, right? Overall, we don't want to lose money. So locking in your overall goal as a retreat host, and maybe you have a goal that's not even on here. This is just a few that I commonly see. So write it down early in your stage of your business, because oftentimes what happens is we get that fatigue that I talked about earlier. We're like, oh, that one was so much work. I lost so much money. I, was pulled left and right, and all these things happen. And like, I'm just never doing it again. When it could have been a really profitable, intentional community builder, aid into your front end of your launch. It could be an actual revenue generator. It could be an overall enhancement and an attraction factor for an existing offer that maybe needs to be like juiced up a bit. So just something to think about there. Next is your client promise and transformation. Okay, these are strategies for crafting a powerful client promise and transformation. There's 2 parts, okay? You have your client promise, and then you have your client transformation. The promise is going to be focusing more on the perks of the attendee, okay? Like five day, 4-night in this luxury estate. You're going to have a private chef. You're going to have all these things. Like, that's more of like, I'm promising to take care of you, okay? Also, for me, a big part of it is making sure that they feel safe. And so I make sure that they know they'll have a resident husband that is on site, that locks up, that walks them to their spaces and makes sure that we're safe while we're traveling. Maybe there's also like the benefit of overall promise could be, that you're going to maybe for your retreat, like book X, Y, and Z coming off of it, right? Something like that, right? Where the promise is going to be more of like taking care of you. These are more of the tactical things, like the bullet points that you would see saying like, in this retreat on the invoice, these things are included, okay? Then you have your client transformation. This is signifying the impact that we promise the client to have. Well, we got to be careful with the promise, because everyone's transformation is also a result oftentimes of the amount of intention and the action that they take. But I will obviously dive deep into past experiences. At the very bottom, you'll see often measured through testimonials, case studies, and success stories. So if you haven't had a retreat before, this might be a bit harder, right? But this is something that you will want to infuse into your retreats as you move forward. But for me, I know for a fact that the way I've structured even my smaller retreats that I offer through my strategy program, it does create massive clarity. And I know from over the years of saying I never did a retreat, just as an educator, I know that the number one thing that my client walks away with is massive clarity. Okay. So what are the actual results? Maybe they're releasing trauma. Maybe they're gaining their certification as a yoga instructor. Maybe they're healing their inner child. Maybe they're breaking free from their limiting beliefs. Like whatever that looks like, right? What are they going to walk away with? So these are questions that I want you to journal on or to reflect on and ask yourself to ensure that you're meeting the promise and the transformation. Okay. How is my attendee feeling coming in? Is she overwhelmed? Is she stuck in her business? Is she grieving? Like everyone's retreats are different, right? What is she carrying? Because this allows you to understand who you're talking to. This is foundational, right? How is my attendee feeling as they return home? That helps you with that transformation that you're going to deliver, right? So that's a big part of it. Questions to ask yourself as a retreat host to ensure that you're meeting both the promise and the transformation. So these are going to be the questions that I want you to take time to sit back and to reflect on. How is my attendee feeling coming in? And really thinking about, like, is she feeling heavy? Is she feeling concerned because she's left her family? Is she grieving? Is she excited because she's coming to learn yoga? Everyone's is going to look different, right? So how is she feeling coming in? Maybe she's nervous, like she's never been to a retreat before. She's never been around women in this capacity. And then how is she going to feel, or he going to feel, as they return home, right? Like, what is that, again, going back to that transformation? Are they going to feel excited? Are they going to have clarity? Are they going to feel ready to take action in their business? Are they going to feel like they can go start their own private practice? Or are they like, whatever that transformation is that you really want to embody and share with your community through this experience? What is that? What do I want my attendees to experience while attending my retreat? We'll go deeper into this in just a few minutes, but I think about the senses. Like, what are they going to taste? Like, what type of food are they eating? Like in this picture above, like when we were in Costa Rica, I really wanted them to be able to see the ocean and feel the sand underneath their feet and watch the sunset and taste coconuts while we were on the beach. And we were going to light a fire so that it hit the senses of smell and feel it, like fires embody so much of that. What is it that you want them to really embody? Then, with all of that being said, I really want you to give yourself permission to cast that vision, right? Uncover an overall vision for your retreat. Cast that net as big as you want, right? Like, don't hold yourself back, because we can always dive deeper into our desires versus our needs when it comes to hosting retreats, especially as we get into the budgeting aspect, right? But like, are we having speakers? Are we not? Are we having a panelist? Are we having keynotes? Are we having breakout sessions? Are we going on crazy excursions? What does that look like? Are they going to the beach? Are they having that fire? Are they going and taking a tour of Sedona and looking at all of the beautiful red rocks? Are they, like, what is that experience like? Are they zip lining through the jungle? Are they riding four-wheelers? Are they going to waterfalls? Or maybe they're having I don't even know. Like, guys, the options are endless. There are so many different options to infuse experiences. Are we having swag bags? Are we having sponsors? Who's the headliner of your retreat? What are you teaching? Like, just that wow experience. Give yourself all the permission to, like, dream as big as you want. I always say, like, think like Disney World, right? Like, just what is everything that you want them to experience? And again, like, you don't have to have that caliber of retreat. Maybe your wow experience is that they don't have to wear makeup and they're sitting in the beautiful jungle and they're hearing the birds and it's so peaceful, and they have a pool that they're sitting beside. And then the last but not least is feeling free to ask questions, right? You can send me a direct message on questions that you have as you're starting to work through this process. You can schedule a free 20-minute call with me. If you're like, I know I want to host a retreat, I need a little bit help on the vision casting. Can I get some support on that? And then if you do take time, and I hope that you take time to take intentional action and journal some of these things out and start to cast your vision, I would love it if you would share some of those things with me. I would love to know what's coming up for you. A lot of times we've had this desire deep down inside, but we just didn't know how to get started. And so this is the foundational piece to helping you cast your vision for what could be a beautiful and transformational retreat experience, not only for you as an entrepreneur, right? Making sure that we're hitting those goals that we have in mind, but also making sure that we are creating that transformational promise and experience for our attendees. So thank you so much for joining. So much more to come, you guys. I have links for you to book the 20-minute call. There's also a link to get your name on the wait list for the Retreat Revenue Roadmap program that is coming out. And there's so much more in store. So I appreciate your time. Feel free to share this with someone you feel like would benefit from getting to host a in-person retreat. And I appreciate your time, and I hope that you guys have a great rest of your day.